it going, everybody? So for today's video I'm going to be removing this motor out of my 1988 Honda Civic Si. This is my parts car and I need this to get out of my property, so I'm dismantling it in all the ways possible. I'm going to put this motor in my daily driver CRX, which is, I'll swing the camera around so you can see it, which is this gray CRX right here. And I'm going to be putting my motor out of my gray CRX in that blue car because my motor is a D15 D7 and I'm selling that Tahitian green CRX. And I'm going to be putting this ZC swap in my daily driver after I take it out and check the internals. It actually still has some of the factory warranty Japan or HMO stamps on the block, so I think it's good. I already got it to run once, but I do want to do an internal check. So this video is just going to be me taking this apart. Hope you guys enjoy. So the first thing I like to do is go in and make sure the whole engine chassis wiring harness is removed. So I already did that before, but if you don't know how to do it, these are your two main plugs. These three main plugs right here. They plug into your engine harness right here, and then there's EGR plugs and intake manifold plugs over here. So just make sure everything's disconnected from the motor, and then you can focus on this engine mount, the rear T-bracket. I already took the front bracket off and the front subframe, I already took that off, and then this motor mount. And I'm going to be dropping the motor out of the car down to the bottom and lifting the car up with a jack. It's just how I like to do it. I find it easier, and I'll be rolling this out with a dolly. But first I gotta take these axles out on both sides and drain the oil out of the car. Tens off, little cap off. If you are removing a motor and it's your first time, I would recommend labeling all your bolts and nuts, but I just have a bin right here. I've done this so many times on these cars, I just know where the stuff goes, but I would recommend labeling your pieces. Because this car will be having to be taken out of here on a trailer at one point, I still kind of connected the suspension just enough so that, you know, I can turn the wheel and that it still has rotors. I kept the brake pads, the brake cylinders. I'm going to be putting those on my blue CRX because it's missing those, and the rest of this is old and worn out and I don't need it. And so now I'm going to pull this axle and I'll time lapse the other side as well. So now I just pulled the drain bolt. Gonna let it drain out for a little while, and then I just dropped that axle on that side. I still have to do this side. We'll do that in a second once it stops draining. So now I have this axle removed. You kind of like go under here, you find where the axle mates to the transmission, and you pry it with a screwdriver a little bit. Anyway, so now what I'm going to be doing is going at the engine mounts. Since I only have that one, and the rear one, I'm going to do the rear one first to get it out of the way. What I didn't realize is I work on B series all the time, so this isn't even a T bracket, and you can just take it off by the top. There's one hiding in the shadow right there, and two more, so we're going to pop those off and see if the engine wiggles. One, 2 and 3. Yep. We got a wiggly motor. So now I just need to disconnect the fuel pressure, brake booster, throttle cable, maybe a couple wires. So 2 more things to do are to drain the transmission right here and to take out this pin in here, which is up inside this. You pop it out. It's called a bitch pin. It's kind of hard to take out, but that and the transmission liquid, and I'm pretty sure this motor's ready to drop. So when you go back to the shift linkage, here's that pin I was talking about right here. It has a little clip cover on it. You take it off and you have to push this out. I like to push it out the top. I put a little bolt or a screwdriver, a thin screwdriver right here, smaller than the diameter of this hole, which, sorry, I'm bad at filming, of this hole. So I'm going to punch that out, see if I can get it on camera. I don't know. We'll see. It's kind of difficult. So because that bitch pin is so hard to get out, I came over here and looked from the top, and down there, right there, the end of this socket is pointing. Right there, that black hole is the bitch pin hole. So I got this, made this thing out of extensions. I put this Allen key tool I don't care about on the end of it, and I put it in from the top like so and hammered it down, and that actually helped. The bottom of my bitch pin was scraped and flared out, so it didn't want to come up like it normally does. So, you know, you always gotta innovate. So now I have my shift linkage dropped. On this side there's that bitch pin, and on that side it's a 13mm nut. It's or a bolt. It's fairly simple. So I got that dropped. I got my axles pulled out. I got my transmission drained. I got my oil drained. I got all my wires disconnected on this side. I got radiator out, everything out on the front, and I got this mount disconnected back here. I actually, instead of disconnecting my speedo cable, since my dash is out, I just pulled the whole speedo cable through. But if you were to not have your dash out, of course, you would take this mount off, and you can pry the speedo cable out with just a screwdriver. It's actually very simple. And so now I'm going to unbolt. I'm going to lower the car. I'm going to put this on a dolly. I'm going to unbolt that, and I'm going to slide it out.
Make sure nothing's catching too hard.
Because the motor's not quite high enough to lift, so I'm going to put my jack stands back. So now what I do is, with the car jacked up, I come over here and I put my jack under the car, and I put a piece of wood in between the two sub rails, and I jack it up. And this gets the front end of the car high enough so that you can roll out, grab it, and you roll it out. Well, thank you for watching the video. I hope you stayed till the end. It's kind of was just like me filming me taking the motor out, but I tried to help a little bit. I will be making a video, of course, of me pulling my motor and putting this motor in when I'm ready. But for now, I needed to get this motor out of this car, so I hope you enjoyed the video and I hope you have a good day.